In his Reuters interview, the president rejected any notion of impeachment, saying, "I'm not concerned. No, I think that the people would revolt if that happened." Asked about prosecutors' assertions that a number of people who had worked for him met or had business dealings with Russians before and during his 2016 presidential campaign, Trump said, "The stuff you're talking about is peanut stuff." President Trump is also talking about Michael Cohen, who will get sentenced today and go to prison. When asked if he had discussed campaign finance laws with Cohen, the president said, quote, "Michael Cohen is a lawyer. I assume he would know what he's doing," adding that, number one, it wasn't a campaign contribution. If it were, it's only civil. And even if it's only civil, there was no violation based on what we did. Joining us now, member of the House Intelligence and Judiciary Committee, Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California. Eric, where do we begin? I think I'll just throw it out there that the president calling all this Russia stuff and involvement with people that he worked with on his campaign and into the White House peanut stuff. I would probably think that you disagree with that.
I do, Mika. Good morning. And the people actually have already revolted. They revolted about a month ago when they sent 40 new members of Congress to put a balance of power on all of these abuses of power. But also, let's go back to April 5 when the president was aboard Air Force One and said he had no knowledge of any of these payments. And so now here we are. He's acknowledging the payments. Look, he is a lying president, and a lying president is a weak president. And I don't think we should hang our hats on these payoffs to Stormy Daniels and others. But I think they show that he is a shadowy operator, and it's probably more important to look at how he has conducted himself as it relates to Russia, the Saudis, and Chinese, because I think if he was willing to work in such a shadowy way to pay off a few women who were making these allegations, he's probably working that way in much bigger issues.
So for those who are like, I'll take Trump because he says what he thinks and who cares, why does this matter? What impact does the actions that you all are very interested in getting answers on, his actions, the actions of those who worked for him, how do they impact the American people and our democracy?
And that's what we should focus on as we conduct these investigations, which is he is making foreign policy and domestic policy decisions based on his own personal financial interests. And so he's putting transactions above basic American values. So if he's in a fight with the Chinese because he's upset about loans that they have extended or have not extended to his personal businesses, and that's driving tariff policy, that's hurting a farmer in Iowa. If your son could be sent off to fight a war overseas because, again, he's got foreign entanglements, and those entanglements are driving our policy, whether it's with Iran and the Saudi relationship, that affects you. And I think that's where we should look, is to really take an MRI to his finances, whether it's his tax returns, his bank records, and start to intervene to protect the American people.
Casey Hunt.
Congressman, good to see you. I've noticed that you, and just to switch gears a little bit off Russia for a second, I noticed that you have an upcoming trip to Iowa scheduled, and I'm wondering if you are still considering running for president in 2016, what your timeline might be for a decision, and quite frankly, what benefit you see to it, considering how many people there are that seem likely to throw their hats in the ring on the Democratic side.
Well, you have to start somewhere, Casey, and I actually do see a path. I am considering it. I'll be doing a town hall next week with a Parkland survivor, Cameron Kasky. He and I will be doing a gun violence student town hall in Des Moines. Iowa's first in the nation, and I'll be in New Hampshire this Friday. And those states play an important role, and I want to continue to listen and learn from those folks and make a decision just after the holidays. But I do believe that the country, by sending about 27 new members of Congress who are in their 40s and under, that they embraced in this last midterm election new leadership, new ideas, and much importantly, a new confidence.
Congressman, in a little over 3 weeks, the Democrats are going to retain control of the House. You're going to be in charge. America and Americans are fairly familiar with the lies, the distortion of truth that come out daily from the Trump administration. Tell me about the East Bay, your district in California. Tell me about the bridges, the roadways, the airports, the things that need to be rebuilt. How do you balance those priorities?
Yeah, well, you talk to people in the East Bay right now, they're listening to you, and they're sitting in traffic. and they want an infrastructure bill, and that's true in the East Bay as it is true in the Rust Belt and the South. People want to see that disconnected places will be connected through infrastructure, that we would have rural broadband. And I see an opportunity to collaborate with the president, who has come to Congress twice now and asked for $1 trillion infrastructure plan. So we'll do investigations, but when it comes to infrastructure, immigration, reducing the cost of prescription drugs, he'll see those bills on his desks. And that helps people in my district as much as it helps people across America. And we're going to try and collaborate where we can.
All right, Congressman Eric Swalwell, thank you very much.
Of course, my pleasure.
Looking at the president tweeting again. Up next, of all the issues at play right now, perhaps nothing looms larger than the president's trade battle with China. What it means for the American economy and the balance of power in the Pacific, and the president up and tweeting again. Morning Joe is back in a moment.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.